Welcome, everyone, to Expanding Consciousness. I am Master Lady Kira Raa. Today, we're taking a deep dive into sacred medicine and the consciousness of sacred medicine and the authenticity of sacred medicine. And this is a part 2 episode, taking us into a deep dive of consciousness, into the utilization of that template. And so I'm inviting you to sit back and relax and give yourself the gift of simply receiving. And as you do, enjoy my special guest, Adama, and my conversation. And you're going to be joining us kind of halfway in. So if you did not listen to part 1, make sure you do right now. Enjoy. I love you. Ready, but we're going to dive into this a lot deeper and the power of sacred medicines when they're called forward from the gift of integrity. And I'm so grateful you're here, Adama. I really am. Thank you. Hey everyone, welcome back to Expanding Consciousness. I am Master Lady Kira Raa, and today we are expanding from last week. Today we're going to go deep into sacred medicines. We're going to be talking about cacao. We're going to be talking about ayahuasca. We're going to be talking about Wuma, and we're going to be really going into the depth of the conscious awareness at this awakenings with the one and the only Adama, who was here with us last week. You got to know about him last week, and if you did not listen to that episode, go back. Check it out and make sure that you really catch up to where we are right now. But hey, stay here right now because this episode is standing on its own. Adama, welcome back. I'm so glad you're here.
So good to be here.
Oh my God, thank you. So I'm so excited because last week, I love your story.
Yeah.
I love hearing about where you come from, who you are, how you arrived into where you are. And of course, the blessing of your presence here at Tosa Blue Mountain Sanctuary is something that I personally am just so grateful for, and the gift of your wise counsel and being able to have these conversations is just a real blessing.
It's truly an honor to be here.
Thank you.
Yeah. And when I go into that pyramid of peace, especially when I get in the center, it's that spiral of energy,
right? That perfect alignment,
that spiral of energy, spiraling up through the root chakra first, clearing it out, relaxing it, peace, right? The peace, that path of understanding
in every way, because it's outside of the mind.
Right.
It's standing in that eternal, the eternal presence of the Shiva Linga, right? The beam of light.
Yeah, it's the beam of light, and so that pyramid holds that frequency of peace.
Yes.
And that really creates this beautiful sanctuary. And then I went and worked with the sacred cacao, which is incredible, right? She's just an incredible maestra and mother, and just I was just so honored to meet her.
And this is ancestral cacao.
This is
I think
ancestral
that's really important,
cacao.
especially a lot of people don't realize that very recently discovered here in Ecuador was the archaeological evidence that cacao originated here.
Yeah.
And the energy and it's from that area where she is, and those trees are the ancestral trees. And so it's just the essence of Gaia herself.
And has so much more wisdom.
Right?
Than most of the... Yes. And I've had ceremonial grade cacao.
Well, you're really an expert, and that's why I want people to hear what you have to say. Yes.
It's something different.
It is.
It's got more intelligence, more wisdom.
Yes.
The voice is clearer, right?
And intelligence, wisdom, voice. I'm just, yes.
And what really happened while I was there working with doing the cacao dieta, or the cacao fasting, was... that medicine really works your lower chakras.
Exactly.
It's grounding.
It's a cleansing, grounding experience.
It's grounding. You can just feel the things in your being that are ready to be released just sinking down. And
yet, can I ask you this? Because this was my experience, that while you're in that experience of this sinking down, this grounding, this ready to release, it's not, it is supportive of you sustaining your higher frequency.
Absolutely.
And that's what's so beautiful about it, is that it's not like a piece of hematite that's going home.
Right.
It's this beautiful, nourishing piece of love from Gaia going, I am here. Let me handle these lower 3 so you can be. It's the essence of the Yoga of Self-Ascension, which is a stabilization of the first, second, and third chakra into, instead of this, safety, sex, and power, into peace, love, and joy. And that's what I'm hearing you say.
That's exactly right. It was that beautiful grounding as the foundation.
Right.
It's like the base of the pyramid.
Mother Earth, that feminine Gaia.
Which allowed the energy to then rise up into the sacral chakra.
Right.
And in the purified sacral chakra, you have the safety of peace at the root, and then you have love.
There it is.
Right?
Right. Peace and love.
Which then radiates up into the heart space.
Yay!
And
we're liking that.
Then you have this grounded, open, joyful heart.
Where you are ready to step into the divine galactic blueprint, right? Because then the high heart activates and that double helix begins and the spin of the availability to be able to receive the ascended presence walks in.
Yeah. And you've been talking about it a bit this year, this north and south union. What's more north and south than star consciousness and root chakra?
Right.
And it feels like that's what we're integrating.
Well, I just felt that as you said that.
Yeah.
Like the star consciousness and the root chakra. So if you don't know what star consciousness is, it's above your third eye. It's like about 1.5 inches above. And if you really gaze at that, because it opens your filters beyond this field, that's very powerful, grounding that with the body of form.
Yeah, it's truly becoming multidimensional beings.
Yes.
While we have these 3D becoming 4D bodies,
right,
that are able to hold all these different dimensions of awareness, right? And it can be really challenging to integrate the higher dimensions into this density.
That's an understatement.
Yeah, it can be really
That's
hard.
why you need to come to Tosa Blue Mountain and hang out for a while, because it is challenging.
It's really challenging.
It is. So I want to just really dive in, because catch us up on your medicine journey.
Okay.
And really catch us up, because I really want people to understand that you have had such extraordinary experience with medicine. You've really had the deep dive. Yeah. You've had that blessing of being able to be with many different types of beings, both in the United States, both in their environment. And then you've come here to Tosa Blue Mountain, where due to synergy and timing, and of course we all know from last week that it was Babaji who invited that gift of coming here, you have been able to participate in Cacao with me, Cacao with Tanya, Wachuma, Tosa Blue Mountain style, Wachuma with Alexander Padilla of the Cañari. You've been able to float through all these different places of Ecuador. So wow, am I excited.
I'm excited.
Good. Yeah. So catch us up. How did your journey with medicine? Give me this is why I started with medicine, and this is kind of my weaving to date.
Well, I mentioned in the last week in that 2018-2019 corridor, I could feel my life pushing me out of it.
Got it.
Right? But I didn't know how to change my life circumstances. I didn't have the courage in some instances.
So this is like 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't have the courage. I didn't have the clarity. Clarity is the big part.
Right, always.
And so I didn't know how to change my relationship that I was no longer feeling in alignment. I didn't know how to change my job that, no longer felt in alignment. And I was wearing a suit and tie to the office every day, working 60 hours a week, practicing law, doing work I didn't particularly enjoy that was never worth the money. And then meanwhile, all these freaky things would come in that would just add unnecessary stress on my life, where it just felt like the universe saying, okay, that hand on the back, getting more and more persistent.
Exactly.
About to push you out of the nest.
Yep.
So it was from this place of having achieved a great deal of self-realization through my Kriya Yoga practice, of being able to sit down on my meditation cushion and go into samadhi, right?
There it is.
Right? I could do that at a drop of a hat.
I get it. How many of us, right? Got it.
And then going,
love it.
And then going out into my life, which I didn't love.
I like that, though. It's life in quotes. It's like the air quotes.
Life.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was, I came to this point where I was starting to think, I think my meditation practice may be becoming spiritually bypassing my physical reality.
That's an interesting realization.
Yeah, because I had bliss on tap.
Got it.
Right?
And knew how to access it.
I knew how to access
it.
Yeah, I had bliss on tap, so I could pretty much tolerate anything.
Of course.
And I still have that. Like, it takes me a while to realize when I'm in hell.
Of course.
Like, it has to get hot.
Turn up the heat.
It has to get pretty hot.
So take me to medicine. How do we get to medicine?
I was having this realization that I'd hit a plateau with my practice.
Got it.
I had hit a plateau with my life.
Got it.
I was unable to integrate these higher dimensions of awareness into my physical reality, into a life that I loved, that felt in alignment with my mission and purpose in this world.
Got it.
And the universe was telling me, you're meant to be a spiritual service. That is what you came in.
And it was because, as we learned last week, everything conspired to make sure that happened.
Everything conspired to make sure that happened.
Same thing with Shri. I'm so thinking of so many things.
It was just like, this is your path.
Like it or not.
Like it or not.
There it is.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's like you have to take responsibility.
Exactly.
For your self-realization.
Always.
And so I'd hit that point where I'd plateaued, could not integrate that multidimensional awareness into my everyday life and improve my life, change my life circumstances. And I was praying to Babaji and the gurus, and I was like, what do I do? I don't know, how to proceed from here.
Right.
And they said, well, you have two options. You can go meditate into a cave for a few years, or you can go to Peru and work with ayahuasca.
There you go.
Yeah,
no, well, those are two very viable, true options. Right. Absolutely.
And that was the options they gave me. And they said, frankly, you don't have time.
Right.
Humanity doesn't have time.
Yep. For
you to go into the cave for a few years and fast and meditate.
For any of us to.
Right.
That is true. We are at our moment.
So it was like, and I had a friend who had worked with these sacred medicines in South America. He had a teacher down there. We had a mushroom ceremony together. It was my first mushroom ceremony at his cabin in the woods in Kentucky, which was just beautiful. And it was just a United Nations.
So this was mushrooms?
Mushrooms. It was a United Nations of the intergalactic community just coming in to say hi.
How beautiful.
Right?
Hello, welcome home.
And I was like, oh, mushrooms are amazing.
Right.
These plant medicines are amazing if used respectfully.
Correct.
And that's important. And so during that ceremony, at the end of that mushroom ceremony, this golden Terra came in.
Beautiful.
And she confirmed, she said, you need to go to work with ayahuasca in Peru.
Okay.
And the next week, I booked my ticket and went down in January 2020 to an ayahuasca retreat center in Peru, where I sat with 4 ceremonies of ayahuasca by this beautiful ayahuasquero who's 80 years old now.
Oh, wonderful.
He's facilitated over 6,000 ceremonies.
Oh, I love it.
He started facilitating when he was 8. He's just your classical grandfather of the jungle.
So what did ayahuasca do?
Well, my first 4 ceremonies with ayahuasca was literally me, Kali, and Yogananda.
Oh my gosh.
And
I love it already.
And it was just this coming home to my tantric self.
Yes.
Right?
Beautiful.
It was this tantric initiation.
Yes.
And ayahuasca appeared to me as Kali. I was sitting there in the Maloka, and before I even drank, this mantra came in. Ma, ma, Kali, ma. And it was just shaking, right?
Yeah, of course.
And and all 4 ceremonies, she was Kali.
Oh, sure.
And one of the intentions I came.
So your ego must have been very strong.
It was.
Yeah.
And I had come praying because I recognized I had a calling to be a spiritual service. But I also recognized I lacked humility.
Correct. Kali only comes for that.
And that was literally the why I said, I'm not ready to teach anybody.
Correct.
Until I heal this.
You know it.
Until I find humility.
There it is.
And literally it was this beautiful dance with Kali of where at times I would become her. When I would become proud that I was her. I would become Ganesha in her arms.
How beautiful.
And just this helpless infant in her arms.
Yeah, I love it.
And then sometimes it would be Shiva and we would be lovers, and sometimes I would just be nobody.
How beautiful.
Right?
So fast forward me.
Yeah.
So we're going from ayahuasca, and then you had these 4 journeys. Then what happened?
Then I had
Kali, all this beautiful.
This beautiful Wachuma mesa.
Okay. So how far after that? How far after you?
Only a few days.
Okay, so was this on the same trip?
Same trip.
Okay, so you did 4 ayahuasca, then you started Wachuma. Okay.
Yeah. And the Wachuma mesa in the tradition that I primarily trained in is really beautiful. And it's this beautiful mesa practice where you have the cross of perfect balance, the Indian cross.
Yeah.
You have the axis mundi, where all the points converge.
Correct.
Then you have, on your right side, you have the masculine. On your left side, you have the feminine. And at the top you have the upper world, and in the middle you have the heart.
There it is.
Right?
Yes.
And the practice
I felt that as you said that.
Sitting with that mesa is it heals you.
Yes.
And it gives you clarity, and it balances your energy centers. And for me, that was truly an activation and stabilization of Christed consciousness in my heart.
How beautiful.
Yeah.
As above, so below.
Yeah, it was really that unification into the heart space in a deeper, more profound way.
Sure.
And for me, Wachuma has always been a medicine of clarity. You know, clarity about your true nature, clarity about your life, clarity about how the universe works.
Exactly. And I want to share that those of you that don't know what Wachuma is, we're talking about San Pedro. Its original name is Wachuma. So go ahead, forgive me.
And so that was that, you know, that ceremony was getting cleaned out and having my ego just brutalized by Kali, and having to surrender to death, right?
Right.
I wrote my will before I went and sat with the medicine.
Good
it's like, if I have to lay down and die, I'm willing to do it, right?
That's when you know you're ready.
Yeah, it's like, because I am completely surrendered to what needs to be. Right, to the good of all.
Right.
And because I know this life needs to end, right? And I don't know what comes next, but I know I need to go through this portal to get to where I need to go. And
that was in 2020.
That was in January 2020.
So now we're 5 years later.
Yeah.
So how has the journey taken you? How has that initial extraordinary opening for you, how did that propel you? Where did that take you?
Well, 3 months after I returned to the United States, COVID happened.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
They were just talking about COVID at the retreat center before I left.
Okay. So talk to me about during COVID. So what happened during and that would be like we're talking about 2020 to 2022-ish?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was, I'd been working a job 60 hours a week, wearing a suit and tie, sitting at a desk. All of a sudden, we weren't allowed to go to the office anymore, and I had to work from home 30 hours a week, 20 hours a week, and so I ended up working a lot less, and so that pretty much changed overnight, right?
Right.
My relationship with my first partner came apart before I went to work with the medicine. That was almost the price of admission.
Got it.
It was like, you need to...
The shaman's walk.
Yeah.
The explosion to put yourself back together.
You have to take it apart.
Exactly.
And so, but we continued to live together during that period and sort of clean up loose ends and as friends. And about a year into that, a year after I had that experience down there in the jungle, I had made a friend down at the retreat center, a beautiful brother named Parker. And he was a former lawyer who ended up going down to the retreat center to help his mentor run it when his mentor got sick. And he came back to the United States due to COVID because they had to shut everything down.
Got it.
He came back to the United States, and you know, he became my first teacher in a lot of ways.
Nice.
And we worked with a lot of sacred medicines together, you know, in different settings. After I started working with medicines, they were always there.
So talk to me about that. Talk to me about, what did you discover? What did you think was the magic or the power? What made you say, yes, I want to move forward. I see where this is helpful or beneficial.
Right. They are masterful, non-dual, multidimensional teachers that, in my opinion, are the means by which the earth, or a means by which the earth provides the ascension codes.
Right.
For upgrading our DNA, our bodies, and consciousness. And, you know, I think during these different yugas, they become in greater use than others. And we happen to be in a changing of the yugas.
Exactly.
We're moving into the ascending Dwapara yuga from the Kali yuga.
This is probably why the medicines are coming up right now as well.
That's exactly right.
And why the challenge, especially because of the Kali yuga, the challenge of, you know, that which is the truth will be seen as a lie, and that which is a lie will be seen as the truth, and the mirrored reflection of what's happening with the medicines.
They've been outlawed for 2,000 years.
Right, and then to be able to see the integrous use and the reason that the medicines were kept with medicine people. Right. The reason that there are medicine people, I think about here at Tosa Blue Mountain, how lucky we are to work with the ayahuasca people in the Amazon, how lucky we are to work with the Kenyari people, like, these people have been carrying the integrity of the
Mother's
lineage.
Children.
Exactly. And I think that's where we've arrived, don't you? That we're back at that moment where we have the blessing that those of us that are carrying this lineage of integrity see that these medicines are medicines to help humanity remember our heart. I would guess that on your journey, what I'm hearing from your journey is vast Kundalini awakening, a vast connection to your spiritual awakening, and that integrity that, very much the path of Jesus, right? The path of all mystics, which is at some point you keep walking. And either there is one that will walk with you or you are meant to keep walking. But no matter what happens, and I always defer to Archangel Zadkiel, you're going to say yes a lot. You're going to constantly say yes. It seems to me that your work through all the sacred medicines and your blessing of being able to be in such extraordinary situations has awakened in you that recognition as well.
It has, and I said a little bit before we got on here that it's felt a little bit like the dog that caught the car, right?
Yeah, there you go.
I've been on this journey of really single-minded dedication to self-realization, God-realization, and service to the good of all.
The Yoga of Self-Ascension,
That's really the only desire I have left.
Right?
That's really the only reason I have for being in a body. I mean, I try to create desires occasionally for other things just to give me a reason for being in a body, and I quickly lose interest.
I understand.
Right?
I so understand.
And it's hard for me to remain interested in anything else.
Right.
And so I've had that one-pointed dedication to the path. And as I walk that path, it continues to accelerate.
There it is.
It's this accelerating path. And, an issue with my second partnership, which came together for a year and was beautiful and then exploded, was this different appetites for transformation. And what does a beautiful life look like for you?
Very good question. I mean, that's a question to really, really breathe into. And we only have about 2 minutes left. And so if someone was to say to you, I want to end on that. What does a beautiful life look like for you? Where has all this brought you?
What I keep coming back to is this vision I had. The vision came in March 2023. And it was a vision for a temple.
Ah, beautiful.
Ramaka. Rama's spirit, and Ra masculine, Ma feminine, Ka spirit. So it's this place of balance of the masculine and feminine energies in harmony, which is, I think, one of the reasons I ended up down here.
I was going to say, you're describing Tosa Blue Mountain.
I know, we have these converging visions.
Right? We really do.
But manifesting that temple as far as I can tell, is the reason why I'm still in the body. And so that's the vision I have for my life, is the manifestation of this place of healing, this place of devotion, this place where yoga, the discipline, the sutra, meets with the wild and luminous medicines.
There it is.
To help, basically birth an army of Christ. Right?
Across the perfect balance. Right? I love it.
To restore heaven on earth, and I really
absolutely the Garden of Eden.
Yeah, and that as far as I can tell is my mission and purpose, and why I'm here, and what a beautiful life looks like to me is being useful to others and useful to God.
There it is, right?
Yeah.
What could be better than that? Yeah. And so I want to thank all of you for joining us. And again, if you did not see part 1 of these series, please go back and do that right now. I want to thank you, Adama.
Thank you.
I want to thank you all for being here. And remember, get to MasterLadyKiraRaa.com, get to TosaBlueMountain.com. And as the energy is rising toward the March equinox, the chalice itself is coming forward. And I encourage you to breathe in, learn more, love yourself even more, and remember that all is truly well. Many blessings.
Many blessings.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me on Expanding Consciousness. Learn more about the Yoga of Self-Ascension at ShriAndKira.com, and make sure you're subscribed to YouTube official Shri and Kira. Remember, you are the gift. I love you and look forward to being with you again. Namaste.